Did you know that the world's only knighted penguin, named Sir Niels Olav, lives at Edinburgh Zoo? Or did you know that Scotland is home to the world's tallest hedge? Well, I didn't know that one. So, please join me as we take on the challenge of staying awake during our sleepy professor's wild Scottish history lessons. Can you do it without dozing off? The proof will be in the pudding, I suppose. Get ready for a balmy ride through Scottish history like you've never experienced before. From the history of the kilt to the terrifying black bun, the sleepy professor's lessons are packed with fascinating facts and surprising revelations that will leave you gasping for fresh air and feeling like you're right there in the Highlands. So sit back and relax and let the soothing sound of our professor's voice guide you through the most epic Scottish history lesson you've likely had this week. A wee warning though, you might fall asleep with a smile on your face. So as always, lie back, take a nice deep breath, and welcome to Snooze with Sam. Professor Angus McTavish adjusted his spectacles, perched precariously on his nose, and surveyed the audience with a twinkle in his eye. His tweed jacket, patched at the elbows with more tweed, looked like it had survived several Highland battles. And, of course, he was wearing a kilt. A particularly vibrant kilt. A kaleidoscope of greens, blues, and yellows that seemed to defy the very concept of camouflage. Good evening, esteemed colleagues, curious onlookers, and those who may have accidentally wandered into the wrong lecture hall, he began, his voice a rich, rolling burr that could charm the plaid of a bagpipe. Today we embark on a journey through time, a journey through fabric and textile, a journey specifically into the surprisingly hilarious history of the kilt. A ripple of polite chuckles went through the room. Now I know what you're thinking, Professor McTavish continued, stroking his beard that looked like it housed a family of particularly hairy red squirrels. You're thinking the kilt, a symbol of Scottish pride, of fierce independence, of, well, leg freedom. And you wouldn't be entirely wrong. But, like a good dram of whiskey, a kilt's story is far more complex and infinitely more amusing than it appears on the surface. He paused for dramatic effect, then launched into his tale. Our story begins, as many good stories do, with the Romans. Yes, those toga-clad conquerors. They arrived in what is now Scotland, took one look at the landscape, which was mostly mud and angry Picts, and decided that conquering the entire place wasn't really worth the effort. They built Hadrian's Wall and essentially said, "You lot can keep your cold, wet and frankly uninviting land. We have better things to do, like conquering the Gaul and inventing aqueducts and all that good stuff." But the important thing is that they saw these Picts, these ancient inhabitants of Scotland, and they noted their attire, or rather, the lack thereof. Legend has it, they were wearing little more than woad body paint and a rather aggressive attitude. Now, I'm not saying the Romans invented the kilt, but they certainly paved the way for the concept of minimal clothing. A concept, I might add, that remains popular on certain beaches to this day. Professor McTavish cleared his throat. Fast forward a few centuries, and we find ourselves in the Highlands. A land of rugged mountains, deep lochs, and clans who were perpetually at odds with each other. Think of it as a very scenic, very damp, and very bloody reality TV show, only with more bagpipes and fewer Botox injections. Now, the clothing of choice for these Highlanders was the failed moor, which is Gaelic or Scots at the time for the great kilt. Imagine, if you will, a massive untailored piece of wool cloth, roughly the size of a small circus tent. This was your blanket, your cloak, your sleeping bag, your tent, and, of course, your clothing. pleat it yourself, cinching it around your waist with a belt. The top half could be draped over your shoulder, used as camouflage, or even, in dire circumstances, as a makeshift parachute. He paused, a glint in his eye. I'm just speculating on that last one, of course. There's no documented evidence of Highlanders actually parachuting with their kilts. But knowing their ingenuity, I wouldn't rule it out entirely. Now, imagine trying to fight in this thing. A massive, unwieldy blanket wrapped around your body. It's like trying to win a sword fight whilst simultaneously battling a particularly argumentative duvet. It's not funny. Imagine it. It would be brutal. It's no wonder the English found it so baffling. They were used to these neatly tailored uniforms, their precise formations, their general orderliness, I suppose. The Highlanders, on the other hand, were a chaotic whirlwind of tartan and testosterone. They'd charge into battle, their failet moors billowing behind them, screaming blood-curdling war cries. It must have been quite the sight. A terrifying, slightly comical sight at that. He leaned closer to the microphone for effect. And here's a little secret, folks. The failet moor wasn't always the most hygienic garment. Imagine wearing the same piece of cloth for weeks, sleeping in it, eating in it, and fighting in it. Let's just say it probably developed a certain bouquet, a blend of peat smoke and sweat and possibly the faint aroma of whatever haggis-based dinner they'd had that day. It would have been a mobile ecosystem, a wearable microcosm of the Highlands itself. I see a few of you looking at my kilt. Now, I'll have you know that I had this washed the other day. So, enough of that. A few members of the audience wrinkled their noses good-naturedly. Now, at this point in history, enters one Thomas Rawlinson, an Englishman, a forward-thinking, albeit slightly culturally insensitive Englishman. What's new? I'm joking. Or am I? No, I'm joking. Or am I? He owned an ironworks in the Highlands and employed a fair number of clansmen. He noticed that the failet moor, whilst undoubtedly practical, was also rather cumbersome for working in a forge. So, in the late 1720s, he suggested to his tailor, a Highlander named Ian McKean. Unlikely, I know, but Ian McKean, that they separate the bottom half of the fillet moa from the top, and thus the fillet bake, or the little kilt, was born. Professor McTavish beamed. Thank you, Thomas Rawlinson, and thank you, Ian McIan. You have given the world a garment that is both practical and, dare I say it, stylish. Well, at least in certain circles. I don't know. He cleared his throat again. But the story doesn't end there, my friends. Oh no. The Kilt's journey took a rather dramatic turn after the Jacobite Rising of 1745. You see, the Jacobites, supporters of the exiled Stuart dynasty, were particularly fond of their kilts. They saw it as a symbol of their Highland identity, their rebellion against the English crown. And, well, they lost badly. But the English, in their infinite wisdom, decided that the best way to crush the rebellion was to ban the kilt altogether. A gasp went through the room. Yes, folks, the Dress Act of 1746 made it illegal to wear any Highland garb, including the kilt, except for those serving in the British Army. Can you imagine the outrage? The sheer sartorial indignity. That would be like telling the French that they couldn't wear berets, or the Italians that they couldn't wear stylish shoes. It was an attack on their very soul. He paused a little longer, for effect, as always. Of course, the Highlanders, being the stubborn bunch that they are, didn't exactly comply. They found ways to circumvent the law. Some wore trousers during the day and secretly donned their kilts at night, gathering in hidden glens to dance and sing and generally thumb their noses at the English. Others claimed that their kilts were actually just pleated trousers, a loophole that the English, in their bureaucratic ineptitude, somehow accepted. It was a period of clandestine cults, of whispered tartan conspiracies, of Highland fashion rebellion. Professor McTavish grinned, really investing himself into his own stories. And then, like a shimmering beacon of hope, came Sir Walter Scott, the romantic novelist, the champion of Scottish culture, and the man who single-handedly revived the kilt's popularity. He used it in his novels. He wore it to royal events, and he generally made it fashionable once more. He was essentially the Kilt's personal PR agent, and it worked. By the 19th century, the Kilt was back, stronger than ever. A symbol not just of Highland identity, but of Scottish national pride. The professor straightened his kilt, a mischievous gleam in his eye. Now you might be wondering, what about the whole wearing nothing underneath thing? Ah, yes, that age-old question. Well, the truth is, there's no definitive answer. Some maintain it's a matter of tradition, a way of thumbing your nose at societal norms. Others claim it's simply more comfortable. And others, well, they just like the thrill of the unknown, I suppose. He winked, the audience roaring with laughter. But I will say this, folks. A true Scotsman never reveals what he wears or doesn't wear under his coat. It's a mystery, a legend, a closely guarded secret. And that, my friends, is part of the Kilt's enduring appeal. He concluded his lecture by raising a metaphorical glass. So, let us raise a toast to the Kilt, to its humble beginnings as a giant blanket, to its brief stint as an outlawed garment, to its triumphant return to the fashion world. May it continue to inspire, to provoke, and to occasionally cause a raised eyebrow or two. Slanchava. The audience erupted in applause. Professor McTavish bowed, a picture of scholarly eccentricity and sartorial pride. As he gathered his notes, a young woman approached him, her brow furrowed. "Professor," she said hesitantly, "I'm a bit confused. You mentioned the history of the Kilt, but you didn't really mention why Scotsmen wear them. Is it just tradition, or is there more of a practical reason?" Professor McTavish smiled, a twinkle returning to his eye. "Ah, a very good question, my dear. And the answer is, well, it depends on who you ask." He leaned in conspiratorially. "The official answer is that it's a symbol of Scottish heritage and pride. But the unofficial answer? Well, let's just say it's surprisingly breezy, especially in the summer. It's like having your own personal air conditioning unit. And who doesn't want that?" He winked again, then strode off, his vibrant kilt swaying behind him like a flag of slightly scandalous freedom. The history of the kilt, it seemed, was far from unfurled. It was a story that would continue to be told and retold, with each swish of tartan and each knowing smirk. And Professor McTavish, undoubtedly, would be there to keep the legend alive. The following morning, Mr. McTavish, whose tweed jacket seemed permanently infused with the scent of peat and pipe tobacco, surveyed his classroom with an unusual air of, dare we say it, smugness. Yesterday's lecture on the kilt had been a roaring success. He could practically feel the collective enlightenment radiating from his students. Marching into the dusty old classroom, he placed his well-worn copy of the ins and outs of Scottish history on the lectern with a satisfying thud. Before he could launch into his planned discourse on the historical significance of oatcakes, a hand shot up from the back row. A student named Connor, known for his insatiable curiosity and penchant for asking questions that veered delightfully off topic, piped up. Mr. McTavish, not to deviate from our lesson, but what other interesting traditions can you tell us that come from Scotland? Mr. McTavish blinked. A lesser lecturer might have been bristled at the interruption, rigidly adhering to the syllabus. But Mr. McTavish was no ordinary lecturer. He possessed a deep-seated love for all things Scottish, particularly the bizarre and baffling. A slow smile spread across his face. He set down his books, abandoning oatcakes to their unheralded fate. "Well now," he began, his voice taking on a conspiratorial tone, "that is a question worthy of a dram of whisky and a crackling fire. But since neither is readily available, I suppose I can indulge you with a few tales from the land of my ancestors. You see," he continued, leaning forward, "Scotland is rife with traditions so strange, so wonderfully peculiar, that they could make a unicorn blush." He paused for a while, letting the students shuffle and get comfortable subconsciously, then launched into a story about the black bun, a dense fruit-cake-like confection traditionally eaten on the 12th night. "Now you might think a cake is simple enough," he said, his eyebrows arching. "But the black bun is not just any cake. It's a culinary brick disguised as a dessert. It's filled with so much fruit, spices and alcohol that it could knock out an Aberdeen Angus bull. They say it was originally created to use up all the leftover Christmas ingredients. But if you ask me, I suspect it was a secret test of fortitude designed to weed out the weak. A ripple of laughter spread through the classroom. Encouraged, Professor McTavish pressed on. Then there's the tradition of the first footing, he declared, puffing out his chest. On Hogmanay, or New Year's Eve, the first person to cross your threshold after midnight is said to bring good luck for the coming year. Now, this isn't just a matter of opening the door to anyone who wanders by, looking vaguely Scottish. Oh no, there are rules, strict rules. The first footer must be dark-haired. Apparently blondes and redheads are bad luck. A theory I haven't quite figured out, granted. They must also bring gifts. Something like coal for a warm hearth. Things like shortbread for prosperity. And, of course, a bottle of whiskey for general merriment. And heaven help you if they arrive empty-handed. You might as well pack your bags and move to England. He chuckled, remembering a particularly disastrous Hogmanay when his Aunt Agnes, a notoriously fiery redhead, had been turned away at the door, resulting in a year filled with misplaced car keys and inexplicably shrinking sweaters. But the strangest traditions, he said, lowering his voice to a dramatic whisper, are those surrounding deaths and funerals. Take, for example, the tradition of sin eating. In some parts of Scotland, it was believed that a person's sins could be transferred to another, usually a poor or marginalised individual, by having them eat a piece of bread placed on the deceased's chest. Sounds grim. Essentially, they were eating the dead person's sins. Can you imagine? Imagine the indigestion. Hey. The class gasped, a mixture of fascination and disgust etched on their faces. Mr. McTavish beamed. He had them hooked. He continued, recounting tales of wakeful nights, where mourners would stay up all night with the deceased, not just to pay their respects, but also to ward off evil spirits. Apparently, the dead are particularly vulnerable to mischievous ghosts who like to play pranks, such as stealing their dentures or rearranging their toupees. A wee bitty cheeky, I think you'll agree. He paused again, allowing the image of ghostly denture thieves to sink in. What else comes to mind? Why, and then there's the tradition of penny weddings, he said, his eyes twinkling. In the olden days, when many Scots were too poor to afford lavish weddings, they would hold a penny wedding. Guests would each contribute a penny or two to help pay for the food and the drink. Now, the catch was, the guests were expected to dance and make merry all night long, regardless of whether they knew the bride and groom. Imagine being dragged onto the dance floor by a complete stranger, forced to do the Highland fling until your legs gave away, all for the sake of a penny. It's enough to make you reconsider marriage altogether, eh? Mr. McTavish went on, weaving a tapestry of bizarre and wonderful Scottish customs. He spoke of the Beltane fires, lit to ward off evil spirits and encourage fertility, of the clapshot, a mashed potato and turnip dish so bland it was said to cure any ailment, and, of course, of the haggis, a dish so shrouded in mystery that even seasoned Scots couldn't quite explain what went into it. As he spoke, the classroom transformed. It was no longer just a lecture hall filled with desks and chairs. It was a highland glen, a wind-swept moor, a smoky pub filled with the sound of bagpipes and chuckling laughter. Finally, after what seemed like hours, Mr. McTavish paused, his voice getting rather hoarse. He looked around the room, his face flushed with enthusiasm. So, he said, as you can see, Scotland is a land of contradictions, of beauty and brutality, of tradition and innovation, of common sense and utter madness. But that, my friends, is what makes it so unique, so captivating, so utterly Scottish. The class erupted in applause, and Connor, the instigator of this delightful detour, raised his hand again. He spoke with his eyes shining. Mr. McTavish, do you think you could tell us about the Loch Ness Monster tomorrow? Mr. McTavish grinned and said, Well now, that's a story for another day. But I can tell you this, she's definitely fond of oat cakes. Ask me how I know next time. As the bell rang, and the students filed out of the classroom, Mr. McTavish gathered his books, a contented sigh escaping his lips. He knew he had deviated from the syllabus, perhaps irrevocably, but he had also shared a piece of his heart, a piece of his heritage, with a group of eager young minds. And in his book, that was worth more than all the oatcakes in Scotland. He adjusted his tweed jacket, the scent of peat and pipe tobacco clinging to him like a comforting memory. As he walked out into the hallway, he could almost hear the faint strains of bagpipes in the distance, a testament to the enduring power of Scottish tradition, no matter how strange or wonderful it might be. He even contemplated buying a black bun on the way home, just to test his own fortitude. After all, a little bit of Scottish madness never hurt anyone. Except, perhaps, an Aberdeen Angus bull. And maybe Aunt Agnes. And as you feel yourself getting comfortable, we will now do a countdown together. With each number, you will sink deeper and deeper into relaxation. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You are completely relaxed. Let your eyes grow heavy and allow yourself to drift as you listen to my voice. Think of rain and its soft, insistent whisper against a window pane. It's a sound that pulls you inward, a sound that invites stillness. You've dimmed the lights, drawn the curtains, and settled into your favourite armchair. A warm blanket is draped over your legs, and a cup of tea sits steaming on the table beside you. Everything is prepared for this moment. A moment of quiet reconnection with yourself. Close your eyes. Just for a moment, shut out the world outside. Let all of the visual noise fade away, replaced by the gentle darkness behind your eyelids. Don't try to control your thoughts. Just observe them, like clouds drifting across the vast expanse of a summer sky. Let them float by, without judgment, without clinging. Now take a big, deep breath. Inhale slowly, deeply, feeling the air fill your lungs, expanding your chest. Hold it for a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now exhale slowly, releasing the tension held within your body. Feel your shoulders drop, your jaw relax. Repeat this 3 more times. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, slowly releasing. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And exhale, a gentle letting go. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold. before exhale. Complete relaxation. With each breath, you sink deeper into your chair, deeper into yourself. The weight of the day begins to lift. The anxieties and worries softening around the edges. Now we begin a slow and methodical scan of your body. Bring your awareness to your toes. Feel the gentle pressure of your socks, the soft texture of the bedding beneath them. Notice any sensations, any tingling, any warmth or coolness. There's no need to change anything. Simply observe. Move your awareness up your feet. Feel the bones within your feet, the muscles and tendons. Imagine them softening, releasing any tightness. With each breath, your feet become heavier, more relaxed. Continue to move your awareness upward to your ankles, your calves, your knees. Feel the support of the bed beneath your thighs. Notice any tension in your hips, and with a gentle exhale, allow it to dissipate. Your breath is your anchor. Whenever your mind wanders, gently guide it back to your breath, to the sensations in your body. Now, focus on your stomach. Feel the gentle rise and fall with each inhalation and exhalation. Let go of any holding, any bracing. Allow your stomach to be soft and relaxed. Imagine a warm, golden light filling your abdomen, soothing and calming. Move your awareness up to your chest. Feel the rise and fall of your breath, the gentle expansion and contraction. Let your heart be open and receptive. Repeat to yourself, softly, silently, I am worthy of love. I am worthy of peace. Feel the muscles in your back, along your spine. Imagine each vertebra loosening, releasing any tension that may live within. Visualize a warm wave washing over your back, melting away any aches or pains. Bring your awareness to your hands now. Feel the weight of them resting in your lap. Notice any subtle sensations in your fingertips. Imagine a gentle energy flowing through your hands, healing and revitalizing. Wiggle your fingers slightly, just to acknowledge them. Move your awareness up to your arms and then to your shoulders. Notice if they are tense. Gently roll your shoulders back and down, releasing any tightness at all. Repeat to yourself, I release all tension. I am safe. I am at peace. Feel the weight of your neck supporting your head. Gently tilt your head from side to side, releasing any stiffness. Now imagine a warm stream of water flowing down your neck, washing away any stress. Now bring your focus onto your face. Relax your jaw. Unclench your teeth. Soften your forehead. Release the tension around your eyes. Let your eyebrows unfurrow, allowing your face to be smooth and serene. Repeat to yourself, I am calm. I am relaxed. I am at ease. Now feel the gentle air on your skin and take note of any subtle sounds around you. Any rain, whispering traffic, a ticking clock, the sounds of your breath. Allow these sounds to become part of your experience, without judgment, without resistance. You are safe. You are grounded. You are present in this moment. Now we will do a countdown. And after the countdown, and with each number, you will sink deeper and deeper into relaxation. 10. Feeling the weight of your body in your bed, sinking deeper, relaxing more. 9. Your breath is slow and steady, calming and soothing. 8. Your muscles are soft and relaxed, releasing all tension. 7. Your mind is quiet and still, peaceful and clear. 6. You are safe and secure, surrounded by love and support. 5. You are letting go of all worries and anxieties, allowing yourself to be present. 4. You are embracing the peace and tranquility within you, feeling centered and grounded. 3. You are drifting into a state of deep relaxation, feeling lighter and more carefree. 2. You are surrendering to the moment, allowing yourself to be carried away on a wave of peace. 1. You are completely relaxed, deeply at peace, and at one with yourself. In this state of deep relaxation, repeat these affirmations to yourself, silently, spoken in your mind or aloud, whichever feels most comfortable. I am strong. I am capable. I can handle anything that comes my way. I am worthy of love, respect, and happiness. I am grateful for all the blessings in my life. I am forgiving of myself and others. I am open to receiving all of the good that the universe has to offer. I am healthy, vibrant, and full of energy. I am confident in my abilities and talents. I am beautiful inside and out. I am at peace with myself and the world around me. I am loved. I am safe. I am enough. Continue to repeat these affirmations or any others that resonate with you, allowing them to sink deep into your subconscious mind. Believe in them, feel them, and know them to be true, because they are. You are a beautiful, amazing and powerful being. You are capable of anything you set your mind to. You are worthy of all of the good things in life. Stay in this state of deep relaxation for as long as you like. There is no rush. Allow yourself to drift, to dream, to simply be. Imagine the rain as it continues its gentle lullaby against the window pane. A soothing soundtrack to your inner peace. Always remember that you can return to this place of relaxation any time you need it. It is always within you, waiting to be discovered. As the rain continues its gentle song, you drift further, closer to sleep. The soft blankets inviting a deep and replenishing night. You are safe. You are calm. You are loved. And as you feel yourself getting comfortable, we will now do a countdown together. With each number, you will sink deeper and deeper into relaxation. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3,